Rebel Moon Child of Fire wasn't the best.
You kidding? I had to pay a Vulcan good money to forget I'd even seen that sorry excuse of a movie.
Forget.
Did it work?
Did what work?
But having reviewed the first one, could we really not take a look at the sequel? Like most problematic stories, it begins with some narration. Good old Anthony Hopkins manages to summarize the whole of the first part, speaking slowly for about a minute and a half. I have to put that as something that doesn't work for me. I mean, doesn't that highlight the pointlessness of the first movie if the first few lines of dialogue tell you everything you need to know about what happened? It's like that first movie didn't need to exist.
I beg to differ.
Come again?
Think of it this way. If you haven't had to sit through part 1, you don't need to. Saving you hours of your life. Come on, there's got to be something that works in this movie's favor.
You mean, watch part 2 so you don't have to watch part 1? I bow to your superior avian argument. Let's swap it. What's going on?
Yeah. Isn't McCluck usually the grumpy one to the commander's more positive outlook?
Did we slide into another dimension where everything's topsy-turvy? Do you want me to be positive, Mouse? I can do that. Let's ease in, shall we? But first, if you'll do the honors, McCluck.
Spoiler alert! Shields up!
I like the depiction of the technology. It's a wonderful and impossible blend of 40s war movies with futuristic laser plasma weapons. It gives the show a cool, grungy look that's charming and unique, even if it makes zero sense. You could see it in a lovely communications device which was a mixture of an incandescent light bulb, an ancient radio, and a holographic projector.
Oh, and when they were readying the cannon near the end of the film by turning their little wheels rather than, pressing a button on a pad or keyboard.
Or how starships have furnaces.
Yeah, okay, they certainly gave the universe a totally unique feel. So unique, in fact, I don't remember it being showcased in the first movie.
I don't either, and I didn't pay for a Vulcan mind wipe. But charming though it is, the universe's technology makes no sense. For instance, the farmers have an anti-gravity cart they use to load up the grain, but they still need a horse to pull it.
You mean a Uraki?
Horses with papier-mâché on their forehead.
How is that any different than Spock's ears or any other alien prosthetic? Ha! Yet, all the harvesting has to be done by hand using incredibly primitive tools. Kind of reinforces the reason why grain is so valuable and why the army needed so much of it. Like, no one knows any modern farming techniques.
But tech doesn't progress in such an uneven way. Everything goes hand in hand. And if the poorest farmers have an anti-grav cart, the high-tech army should have an anti-grav tank, not one that uses legs to move around.
One thing I appreciated was how they prevented the army from blowing up the village by placing all that precious grain in and around the buildings. Explains why they didn't just take off, nuke the site from orbit.
It's the only way to be sure.
One thing I felt bogged the movie down, though, was the huge number of flashbacks. There were just so many of them, and it kept the pacing glacial. Everything was so slow, even without the constant slow-mo.
Come on, McCluck, you can't harvest wheat without experiencing it in slow motion. Or fight people.
Or run towards the enemy.
Or jump off a ledge. Guys, it's Snyder's MO. If you're going to see a Snyder movie, you have to expect a good portion of it to be in slow-mo. That's his thing.
He certainly graduated from the Baywatch School of Filmmaking.
Although you're right, the pace of the movie was slow throughout. I mean, the slow motion didn't help, but we kept having long, drawn-out scenes, like the harvest, then some gift-giving ceremony, then some dancing, followed by the impromptu singing by Titus. There's a lot of padding in this movie, which doesn't contribute much to anything.
Except make you look at your watch. Feels like you could easily cut out at least 30 minutes without losing anything, and have a tighter, more exciting experience as a result.
And you have a point regarding the flashbacks. In fact, the first one where we see the murder of the royal family was, I think, the most ludicrous one of all.
What was ludicrous about it?
Every big movie has an incidental background score, right? Absolutely. It reinforces their scene's emotional cues for what's going on or what's about to happen, and binds the story together. And we, the audience, hear that music, but it's understood the characters don't.
Well, unless it's a comedy.
You mean like Mel Brooks? Love that movie. Works in a comedy, certainly. but definitely not in an action-adventure. There are musicians in the room hangar with the rest of the actors, and the music matches what's going on around them, just like background music would, except it's part of the scene, yet the musicians don't physically react to what's going on, only their music does, and everyone else acts as if they're not even there. It's ludicrous. It actually made me laugh out loud when I realized what was happening.
What a weird creative choice that was. Plus, the whole scene was totally unrealistic. Okay, Lazarus kills the king and queen with the help of pretty much everyone else in there.
Very Julius Caesar.
Especially with all the knives.
But then he suddenly turns on Cora after he's ordered her to shoot the princess. He raised her since she was a child, treated her like his own flesh and blood, only to turn on her now? If he wanted a patsy, anyone else would have worked better if you ask me.
Yeah, but the story wouldn't have happened had it been someone else.
And you say that like it's a bad thing. But look, everyone in the room, even Cora, was in on it.
Even the musicians.
Yeah, try stopping that leak from spreading.
Plus, she escaped so easily. It felt like it was a kind of scenario a child would have come up with. Ridiculous.
Snyder did say he thought about this story since he was a kid.
And apparently didn't revise the script since.
Then there's the other flashbacks. Well, we need to know our heroes' backstories.
Do we, though?
Yes, I think we do.
But it was done in such an artificial way. Titus says something like, "I'm not one for sharing," then says they should all reveal their backstories, starting with themselves. Yeah, that makes total sense. Not.
Certainly felt like a first draft of the script, and to be honest, I could have brushed it aside were it not for how pointless those flashbacks were. They didn't really tell us anything we couldn't have guessed. They didn't provide anything new or even help with character growth. Plus, they were all pretty much the same stories. Betrayed person seeks revenge, rinse and repeat. No originality.
What about the montage?
Every movie has a montage.
Even Rocky had a montage.
I'm more thinking about the time frame. We learn Noble and his ship, the King's Gaze, will arrive in 5 days. So, Titus wants the farmers to harvest all the grain and place it around the buildings for protection, and he wants it done in 3. From the farmers' reaction, that's a very unrealistic proposal, but they do it, which gives them 2 days to turn farmers into soldiers, lay traps, build underground passages, make sure the ship crash-landed in 2 years prior is in good working order. 2 days? For all that?
I love it when the plan comes together.
I don't think even John Hannibal Smith would have managed such a feat.
It shows what you can do with the right leaders, I guess.
About that, when Titus tells them his harvesting plan, he's all big and noble and powerful, and tells them they'll all start work at dawn the next day. But come the next day, he's not the one waking them up. In fact, he looks tired and grumpy to have to wake up so early. Bit of an inconsistent character beat if you ask me.
Come on, buddy, I thought that was actually a good beat. Titus talks the talk, but he's still run down and drowning his sorrows. It's only during the harvest that he grows beyond that. There's even a short scene where we see him choosing to drink water. Character development! It's a rare beast indeed in this movie. Actually, come to think of it, that's perhaps the only time it rears its head. So I'll actually be changing that to something that did work.
Fine, but we're notching it down as well because, as you said so yourself, there's no other character progression in this flick.
Guess that takes us to the battle.
The most exciting part of the movie.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that's real is left behind.
And that the truth.
Well, yeah. You know what the main sticking point I had about that battle? It was clearly written by someone who had no idea about war, or has likely never even seen a war movie, let alone done any research about it to get the feel of it. What it felt like was someone playing with action figures.
Come on, was it really that bad?
Okay, take Tarek for instance. The dude has no armor. That's so we could appreciate his ripped torso. He's wielding a couple of hand axes against heavily armored soldiers carrying ranged laser rifles and blasters. How did he survive? They didn't even have a single scratch by the end.
There's also the fact we felt nothing when people died because we didn't actually know them that well. Take Nemesis. Her death should be meaningful, but it's just empty. That's because you're a cynical old bird. No, it's because we didn't know anything about her, and worst of all, she displayed absolutely zero emotions. So I couldn't relate. I mean, did anyone feel anything when she died?
I was more mesmerized by the red and blue lightsabers.
Exactly. The fights felt more like dance choreography.
The whole thing felt unrealistic, like when robot Anthony Hopkins finally joins the fight.
Was it any surprise that he did, despite saying he wouldn't?
None whatsoever. Anyway, he arrives, and of course our heroes don't shoot at him, but the other side? There's a good 30 seconds when everyone stands still with the robot in the middle and no one fires a shot.
Like when the ambush starts, there's 6 seconds between the shooter revealing themselves and him destroying one of the ships, while the soldiers who were next to him, armed to the teeth, just stand there and do nothing.
It's like Snyder was placing his figures in the right positions before starting the action.
He should have looked at how Peter Jackson handled the battles in Lord of the Rings. Exactly. Even the slightest bit of research would have led to better fight sequences.
Meanwhile, Gora and Gunnar managed to sneak onto the dreadnought.
I actually quite like that moment.
It was a good piece of deception on their part for sure, and an enjoyable moment, so let's be generous and add another point.
Although...
What?
Well, Cora didn't kill grunts when the subterfuge is revealed, but started by killing medics, people who came to help them thinking they were badly wounded.
Yeah, you're right, but war's hell.
Even war with action figures.
By the time of the inevitable duel between Cora and Noble, it just went off the rails for me. Just like pretty much everything else in this movie, I can only put it down to style over substance. The ship has received critical damage thanks to Cora's sabotage, and it's slowly going from horizontal to vertical, like a sinking ship, only in the sky. And all during that time, Cora and Noble somehow managed to keep on fighting, even when they're sliding down.
For me, the funniest moment was as the ship tilts dangerously and everything tumbles down. Cora holds onto a bar or something, while Gunnar slides by her calling her name as he passes. I couldn't help but laugh.
Then, of course, Cora wins the fight.
You can't put that on as a bad thing, can you?
Nah, but it was just obvious. There wasn't really any tension that the outcome would be any different than what happened in the first movie.
Hope Noble stays dead this time.
She decapitated him.
Who wants to bet he'll come back as a head in a jar in a future sequel?
Oh, God, please no. Anyway, the dreadnought is destroyed. Cora and Gunnar manage to find a shuttle that wasn't damaged despite everything crashing into each other and exploding, get on board it, and fly away.
All while the ship was vertical, remember?
Never let physics get in the way of an inconceivable escape. And then the rebels arrive, out of nowhere, to kill off the enemy stragglers who were possibly thinking of trying to regroup.
Seems they were merely shooting fish in a barrel by that stage.
Was there any indication they would come to assist the farmers?
None whatsoever. They just came out of the blue.
That's the very definition of a Deus Ex Machina. That's what that was.
And we hate those. So, there you have it. A sci-fi 7 samurais that manages to make Battle Beyond the Stars feel like a thoughtful and considered action movie.
It's not over, though.
Oh, no it isn't. We need to leave the door open for another sequel.
How?
By revealing that the princess is still alive. Even though she was shot point blank by Cora in a room filled with traitors who just killed her parents. Yep, she's got magic healing powers, remember?
But how did she escape? Where is she now?
That, my friend, could be the subject of another movie.
Setting aside the fact the last few lines of dialogue were atrocious, and I know the audience needs a big gasp reveal at the end.
Except this wasn't one, really.
But why didn't Titus reveal this before, like during the sequence when they were sharing the backstories? They were facing impossible odds. He seemed to be the only one who knew this important piece of information, and he couldn't have known he'd survive the battle, so why not share that with others beforehand? It would also have given the team a stronger incentive, something bigger to fight for than just those farmers, and guarantee that if at least one of them survived, that info wouldn't have died with him.
All I can say is, this was a badly constructed movie that could have done with a few more rewrites.
Possibly from a better writer.
It looks good, though.
Yes, I'll give you that. It looks great. Mostly good special effects, good shots, good explosions. But it's like an empty meal. It might taste nice, but it doesn't fill you up. So there you have it.
Hang on. There are still so many questions left unanswered. Like, why did Robot Anthony Hopkins wear antlers? Was that ever explained?
Not that I recall. Guess he just liked the look of them. Oh, and while we're at it, what was the deal with that apparent feline head through which the ship's power went through?
Wasn't it just a sculpture of some kind?
Well, it opened its eyes when Cora placed the explosives.
Beats me. And what about the title, Scargiver, which seems to be just because Cora gave Noble a simple, clean circular scar on his torso when she killed him in part 1.
He really liked that scar. He kept showing it around.
That's just dumb, though. Why not Deathgiver instead? I mean, she did kill him. Or Toothbreaker.
Even though she broke his teeth in the first fight, they all grew back super fast.
They must have good tooth fairies in that universe.
Clearly, this movie has a lot of flaws. But you know what? It was better than the first.
That's a heck of a low bar, mind.
But tell me, if you've seen Rebel Moon the Scargiver, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Do you agree with the points we raised? Did other stuff bother you?
Do you feel you need to forget you ever saw that movie? Because I know a guy.
Whatever your thoughts, let us know. Live long, and may the Force be with you.